Okay, so if you watched my last video, you know that I mentioned that I was going on holiday to the Isle of Skye. So I thought I'd do something a little bit different and just basically share that footage with you. Now, it's not really going to have any kind of narrative like my videos normally do. It's just a collection of images and music, really. But I hope you guys enjoy it, and I can put that out to you in the meantime while I'm editing a very long video of all the footage of me coming all the way west. So yeah, enjoy. After a flight of just an hour and a half, we landed at Inverness Airport, and then we hired a car and drove the 2 hours to the Isle of Skye. We arrived to stunning views, and although we'd seen pictures already of the cottage, they didn't really do it justice. It was amazing, right next to the sea and framed by mountains. It was the perfect place to have a nice cup of tea after a long drive and just watch the world go by, really. The first place we actually visited was Kinloch Forest. The sea was so wild, and the sky as well. I felt this peace. I felt all of the stress of like my normal life just falling away, really. The sea was quite tumultuous, but something about that place, something about the space of it, gave you room to think. You just start to absorb all of that quiet, and you just realise that how much you're used to background noise in our modern lives. Whereas when you go somewhere so far away, none of that is there really, and you're just surrounded by nature. And you just get to absorb all of that and just go back to how we're supposed to be, really. We took a little drive over to the place where they make the famous whiskey, and of course, you know, we had to get ourselves a bottle. A little bit of a drive, and we found ourselves in the bay itself. Kind of like almost dark, almost black sands in places. Next up was the ferry pools, and this is quite a famous place because of all the waterfalls that sort of carve their way down through the centre of the valley. And we can just basically go on a really nice walk, gradually ascending waterfall after waterfall. The further you got up the mountain, the windier it got. The weather was just right for walking, really. It was just warm enough. We didn't fall over too much. It was well worth it because the views of the waterfalls and just the sound of the waterfall, really. It actually turned out to be quite a long walk, and all those stunning views, highly recommended. Kind of felt to me like I was in Lord of the Rings, if I'm honest. After a long day of walking, taking that slightly longer route. Yeah, I was quite tired after that, actually. Another day, another beach, and apparently one of the only coral beaches on the whole of the Isle of Skye. We also discovered a small island which you could actually get to when the tide was out, and there was something about the isolation of it. Just everything on the Isle of Skye that has to endure all the weather, has to survive some certain extremes. And there's something quite evocative about that, really. More driving, surrounded by mountains, which is good because we were on our way to probably climb the highest peak that we were going to climb, and this was good preparation for it. Every corner is a different view, and you never really get used to it. It's crazy how epic the landscape is, and then this view hits you. There's nothing quite like it, really. It was insane. It was just in the middle of the wind. At the same time, it was well worth the climb, even if it was a bit interesting coming down. Next up, we decided to explore some things that were a bit closer to where we were actually staying. We took a walk around the coastline. The beach and the fields sometimes seemed to meld together, and it was difficult to tell what was beach and what was field. There was also lots of wildlife around. A beautiful sunny day to keep us warm against all the wind crashing in across the sea. Everywhere we went, everything was so quintessentially Scottish. We even at one point spotted a famous Highland cow. That afternoon, we took a bit of a walk and we found another waterfall. So we had a beautiful sunshiny day. We managed to leave just before the weather changed. And then our holiday had come to an end. But as what often happens, there was an absolutely beautiful sunset. And everything looked like a painting or a picture. And you couldn't believe that people actually lived here and woke up to these views every day.